episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Caleb.
I am your host, Joe, waiting 36 fucking seconds for Schweiss to get the show started. Oh, my God, that was too much for me.
Yeah, you know what the best part is?
What?
I didn't actually press record on my end until like 4 seconds before, so I'm going to have to play around with that.
Oh, you fuck.
It's all right, though. It's all right. I'll just find where we started talking and then just go from there.
Yeah, that's going to be real fun. But yeah, what are we talking about today?
So today we decided it was time to revisit some more Distant Worlds. We've been to 2 Distant Worlds concerts now. They were both a pretty big deal. We had a lot of fun at both of them, and I think this is the last Distant World CD. I think we thought there were 4.
I think there's a number 4.
Oh, is there? Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure. I felt like this was the last one, but I can't remember what I saw when I looked it up the other day. But whatever. Correct us. Fine. Destroy us. Who cares? But yeah, I decided it's time to listen to another one of those albums and rank it up. We are currently in the middle of our Dissidia run for the Ultima Final Fantasy podcast, and looking for some extra stuff to consume. Part of me wants to. Okay, there's a small part of me that's very dedicated and very work oriented who wants to read and do like a real production of the Final Fantasy X 2.5 novella and put it up on our YouTube. The larger part of me doesn't want to do any of that.
Oh my God.
Because
both of us?
I don't know about. I mean, it would be better if it was both of us, certainly. But I don't know. I want it to be done, and no one is going to do it for us. That's the thing. There's nothing, as far as I can tell, on YouTube, and I don't want to read it. I really don't want to read it. And I realize that if I am going to read it out loud, I will then have to have read it. But
yes, that is correct.
I don't know. It needs to be done. And I tried to get the Scott Spot to do it, and he was like, it's too much work. I'm not doing that. And I'm like, fuck. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe by now it's out on YouTube, but at the time, it was only translated. And it seems pretty well translated, because we read a little bit of it for the show.
No, we read a little bit of it, and it was atrocious. What are you talking about?
It's terrible, but I don't remember the translation being that bad. I don't know, though. Maybe I'm mixing it up.
No, it was terrible. It was terribly written. Schweiss, we're looking at another Turks, the kids are all right.
Oh, dude.
That's the problem here, man. If it was, like, okay to read, I think I would have probably been like, well, let's read 3 chapters and do an episode.
Yeah.
But no, and after going through chapter 1, I was just like, oh, fuck that. Fuck that book. Okay, so what do we have left? We got Final Fantasy Unlimited. We got the FF13-2 fragments before and FF13-2 fragments after. And then something tells me there might have been another 13 one, but I'm not sure.
Well, we did episode 1 and 2. So we did 13 episode 1.
We did episode 0 and episode 1.
Oh, that's right. Just why must they be odd? Why do they got to start from 0? Like, when I count, I don't say like, or when I have Jace practice his numbers and he starts with 1, I'm not like, no. 0. Then 1.
Yeah. 0 is actually just the absence of a number. So it's not a number.
I guess that's true, but I mean, -1 is not. It's like not a number, but it's also really not a 1. That's what that is. It's like, this is not a 1. But you just said it wasn't a number. I know, but it's more not a 1 than it is not a number.
You know, Schweiss, I go to Final Fantasy podcasts for math humor.
That's right.
That's where I go.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah, there's fragments before, fragments after, and then Tracer of Memories.
Fuck. So there's 313 books we got to go through,
There
and
are
10
3.
2.5, and the audio drama 10 2.5 thing.
The Will, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got some more content to deliver, and also we're.
It's all fucking reading though. Fuck.
I know. Well, it's fine to read. Like I don't dislike reading. I prefer.
It's
I prefer
fine to
listening.
read. Caleb Schweiss.
Yeah, that's a straight to shirt quote right there. It's fine to read.
It's fine to read. And then I would like a silhouette version of like your face, like looking off pensively, and we'll put that on like the wall of a second grade classroom.
Yeah, it's
fine
the
to
picture
read.
of me looking out of the window on the Trade Center thing that we took.
Oh my
Just
God.
like just glancing out at the New York skyline. Just fading.
Are there going to be quotes over the word fine? That's what I'm wondering.
Yes.
It's fine to read.
Yeah. It's better to
It's
listen.
just fine.
I'll tell you that.
Schweiss, so you have a cat at your house. I'm sitting in my car because I can't find a fucking place to record at the place I live. Like last week when we were doing the Patreon invite episode, I was just like going from room to room, just like trying to find a place. I was like fucking Joseph and Mary, and like looking for a room at the inn. I was just like looking for a place where I could talk at a normal goddamn volume. So now I'm in my car, and I'm doing this over the phone. We're actually able to stream this live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy. And I have my own cats as well. They are stray cats going back and forth on a piece of sidewalk next to my car on 23rd Street here in Los Angeles. It's fantastic.
Go pay him a visit. Go pay him a visit.
I'm all right. As long as it's not a fucking hobo walking back and forth, we're good. You know, it's pretty incredible. I went to San Diego like 2 weeks ago, and I'm not sure if I said this on the show, but it was amazing how much of a shithole Los Angeles is, and then you drive 2 hours south, and just how San Diego may be the greatest city in the United States. just 2 hours south of the worst place I've ever lived in, as far as like quality of life. 2 homeless people, apparently, according to my roommate. I only ever saw one homeless person in San Diego. There was parking. It wasn't great parking, but there was parking, and everybody was nice, and it was sunny, and there was a beach, and just like we went in downtown later, and it was nice, and there was no one asking for money, and there wasn't trash everywhere, and it didn't look like shit. It was just beautiful. I'm here in Los Angeles in my car. So there is a chance, by the way, that someone's going to like try to carjack me while I'm in this car.
I don't know.
Sitting here in downtown LA.
If you're flailing your arms around and like yelling about stuff, doing a passionate podcast, I don't know if anyone's going to try to jack your car. I think they think you're insane.
That motherfucker's talking about chocobos. Don't mess with him.
I don't even know what that is.
There's a really good chance, because we get new graffiti on our building like every other night. It's not every night, but like every other night, that I'll see the fuckers like tagging the place. There's a good chance of that. So I'm ready for that shit.
Have you had to like yell at him to get him out of there?
No, I haven't had to do that. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him at all.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah, I've seen one crime fully committed. And, oh man, I'm not sure what I've talked about on the show, because I'm like a little bit sheepish about like shitting on people while I'm in the middle of my apartment, but this is me in my car. So maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I was, walking to, these apartments with my roommates and their friends, and then my roommates, one of which I thought had a girlfriend and was about to cheat on her, said, "Hey, Joe, maybe you should, like, find an excuse on how to get back by yourself." And I was like, "Oh, jeez, all right, fine." So one of my roommates like left to go get laid, and the other ones were going to another apartment. I wasn't interested, and so I was just like, all right, I'm just like, I guess I'll go back. So I was walking back in downtown LA, or just south of downtown LA, which is not great, by the way. Walking back home, like a mile, in just like 3:30 a.m., and I saw a guy smash a bike lock open and steal a bike. I actually saw one crime fully committed. I saw a dude stealing a bike, and I just thought, wow. And there's nothing I'm gonna do. Fuck that. I'm just gonna keep on walking, and that's what the guy expected me to do. Because he looked at me, and then he got on the bike and he rode off. And he was like in a sweater too. I was like, you're ready to see like some gangbanger. Some guy with, like, really tatted up, like, wearing, it's kind of just different. I wasn't expecting a guy in, like, what looked like it was almost a turtleneck. Like, some, like, fashion-forward guy with, like, tight jeans and a turtleneck stealing a bike. But I saw that.
He's just like, fuck it, man. I can't. My car won't start. I'm getting to work.
So I saw that. And then one time I was walking home from work, because sometimes I do that, and it's always fucking sketchy because I get home after midnight, but I'm walking down Figueroa, which is like in downtown LA, it's like a pretty main street. So on one side of the street, there's like the Staples Center, and there's the like LA Convention Center, and then there's a big like parking lot filled with, or it's not a parking lot, it's like a car dealership. So it's like a pretty safe side on the street on one side. I didn't know that on the other side it wouldn't be that way. And I was just like going to mix it up one night and walk on the other side of Fig. Mistake, by the way. It's like a decrepit Hooters, or like what was a Hooters is now just like covered in graffiti, like every inch of it. And when I was going past that, because I'd seen that Hooters from the other side of the street, I'd been like, oh, that's interesting. Wow. When I went past it, there's like an alcove in there. I saw two women, just like, I heard some chattering. I had my headphones on, so I wasn't hearing that much. I was listening to a podcast or something. I heard some chattering going on, and then I saw one woman who was like skinny, and one woman who's kind of like a big fat ass, put on her pants. So I saw a lot. I did not want to see. I saw the big fat woman and the skinny lady. They were like hurriedly putting on their pants. And then as I was walking past them, so all I did was like stare forward, because I was like, I don't want any part of this. I didn't see anything. I heard the words, "thank you," as I was walking past them, and I just like kept going. So that was a weird moment. I saw two women in a dark, decrepit corner putting on their pants. One of them said, "thank you." And I'm not sure if they were talking to me or if they were talking to the other person.
I mean, if they were talking to you, I mean, it's like, thanks for being decent. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you wanted decency, you wouldn't be getting dressed in a fucking hallway, like an alley in the middle of the city. Like, God. So, I mean, that kind of rules that out. I think they were thanking each other.
Oh, fuck. I've had some adventures here. I've told you most of them, but unfortunately, like, the podcast hasn't heard that many of them, so I feel like I might have to do some catching up if I keep on recording in my car. I should be able to do it. A lot of them concern my fucking roommates, who I will not throw under the bus, but I may joke about, and thus it's more appropriate to do this on a totally public and freely accessible podcast that thousands of people will listen to, as opposed to me, and doing that from the comfort and privacy of my own car, as opposed to saying it in the living room.
Yeah. I mean,
I think there's an important distinction.
Exactly, and they'll never listen to it. That's the beauty of it. They just won't. It just won't happen.
Just probably won't. Probably won't happen.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
So, Where are you in Dissidia Final Fantasy, though? I mean, like I said earlier, we're in our Dissidia run. This is the first of 3 Dissidia titles, and I'm curious to see what kind of progress you made since last week.
I think I'm halfway through the game. I was gonna try to marathon it the other night, and then I had the opportunity to go to the movies, and I saw Captain Marvel, and I saw Alita again, and so I did not. But should get it done by next week, assuming I'm not destroyed by the final boss, as I heard someone else was. But yeah, I'm about halfway through it. I think I got like 7 of the campaigns done, or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe 6 of the campaigns done.
I mean, that's kind of halfway, you know.
Yeah, it's God, the story is just like my eyes just glaze over at every cutscene now. I can't take it anymore.
Well,
I couldn't take it anymore with the fucking audio. That was just bad. Like, I would have to hear that dialogue spoken.
Yeah. If you read it, you can kind of put your own fun little spin on it, right? But if
and Titus's voice might actually sound like fucking Titus if I read it in my head.
Is that not James Arnold Taylor for that game?
I don't know if it is or if it isn't, but it doesn't sound right. There's something wrong with it. Of course, there was the one time, I think it's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. They have the same guy doing the voice of Dobby again, but it does not sound right because it had been like 10 fucking years. And so the guy doing the Dobby voice no longer sounded like Dobby. It sounded like Dobby had been possessed by Satan. And it just was like, everything is there, everything's working for me, except his voice is just a little bit off.
Yeah,
so it might be that case.
It's totally James Arnold Taylor for the game.
Yeah, James, he lost it, man. Or something wasn't working, at least in the first few cutscenes with Titus. But dude, the dialogue is rip-roaringly atrocious. It's so bad.
That's the douchebag critic response to what's happening. Jesus.
It's so bad. I've now turned the volume down. I listen to other things while I play that game.
Well, one thing I'll tell you, once they're done jerking each other off in the woods, you know, when we get to like the actual meat of what's happening, it does get better. And there is some semblance of a story. But like, I agree with you. I was playing it and I was like, what? Like, you got this subplot where you know, Furion wants the world to be covered in roses, and like everyone's just rolling with it because they're like, fuck, that's better than the idea that I had. And I'm like, what idea did you have? Like, why is everyone like talking about this guy's dream? Like, is he the new Seifer? Or like,
I want to tell you about my romantic dream.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it. It is in fact one of the most painful things I've had to endure, as far as that goes. But
good God,
just so you know, though, my save file right now is at 37 hours and 25 minutes.
Just so you know, though, my save file started at 10 hours, and I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know if I turned on the game and it just started counting. So, by the way, that happened to me. I just looked at my save file. I was like, why the fuck? It started me at 9:45. I never played this fucking game before. I don't know if it was I have no idea what's going on with my time, so I don't believe it. I'll
tell you one thing though. The time in this game, it seems like it goes faster than actual time. The 30 hours, I was like, I don't think so. You know, and I'd make a save file after the first couple days, and I'm like, 8 hours. Yeah, I don't know about that. So, Dissidia time is, lightning fast time, it seems. Although 10 hours is a lot of time to just, lose. But maybe I'm not the only crazy one. I mean, maybe this is why the guy who sent me his memory card with the game on it has a 500-hour file, is because it's not really 500 hours. It's only about 70. Every minute is... is a week into City of Time. It's like we're in Interstellar.
Oh my god. I think I timed out one of the campaigns. I think the Titus campaign took like an hour and 15. And then I think the Cloud one took 2 hours for me. But I was also getting better at the game throughout.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was the case for me, but when I got to, I don't know, man. Like, I was getting pretty good when I got to Terra, and then Cloud I was amazing with, and then, like, I played Squall, and I was like, ugh, God. Terrible. So, I mean, it kind of, I don't know, you find characters that sort of work with you, but you do get better overall, and, like, I beat the game with Warrior of Light, who I wasn't really that good with in the beginning. I was just like, well, Joe's going to be playing the game for a while. He's not going to beat it, so maybe I'll beat it with a couple characters. And then I got to Chaos, and he, like, fucking laid down the law on me about 50 times. And I was like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'll beat it once, and I'll say, fuck you, I'm done.
a guy named Chaos laid down the law?
Yeah.
That's very ironic.
Yeah, it really is, yeah. And it's a 3-stage fight, just so you know.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Mr. Chaos decided that there was got to be 3 evenly split levels in order to fight him at.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And
he
is something else. I got to the point in the game where I removed the dodge function because I didn't need it. Like, it was a joke. And then I got to him, and I had to learn how to play the game all over again. Basically, I was like, all right, what's this dodge? What's this block?
Oh, fuck. Dude, I totally don't use those.
It's a face melt, and it's like the moon in FF4, but so much more. So much more brutal.
Why didn't you just grind?
I did. I ground on him, but like when you're doing these story campaigns, you can't really grind. Like, I could quit out and restart the whole thing. But
no, you restart the level over and over again, but you keep your XP.
Well, but here's the thing, though. When you fight, when you do a fight, you have to exit out, and then you have to fight them again to keep the XP. If you just hit retry, you don't keep the XP. It throws it away. So basically what I ended up doing is just fighting him.
You just have to keep dying?
Yeah, get to, like, whatever he allows me to, whichever stage he permits me to see, and then, like, let him just fucking destroy me. I say let him destroy me as if I could stop it. Sometimes I'm able to get to the 3rd phase. Sometimes I die immediately on the 1st phase. He's just, like, he comes out of the gate, and I like, turn around after talking to the coach, and they haven't even rung the bell yet, and he just fucking cold cocks me with an uppercut. Just, and then he just goes, like, he gets like 1 billion bravery points, and he just lays down this sick fucking attack that I can't dodge. He's like, yeah, I just won. But yeah, I was just like, get to where I could, do as much damage to that asshole as possible, and then die, then exit out, then rinse and repeat. The sucky part about exiting out, though, is it keeps everything. So, like, it keeps you get your experience, and that's great, right? But it also keeps your break status, like, bar. So if you used your like ultimate when you press R and square right before you died, you won't have that going into the next battle. So if that's the thing that keeps you alive, you're gonna die until you get enough of those fucking, like, blue bells on the ground to get it back up again, or do enough damage to get it back up again, and then when you exit out, you'll have it. So, like, it got to the point where I'd have, like, joke runs where I would just, like, try to get as far as I could, and then try to build my hog bar back up, my ultimate bar, and then I would exit, and then I would go in and, like, be like, all right, for real this time. I'm going to kill him for real. And then it just, like, wouldn't matter.
So you would get real close, but then you would end up with blue bells.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
We're talking mitts in the oven here, and still no payoff. Not just mitts, plural, more than one mitt, and I would just get burned. It's hard, and the last, like, 3 days I've just been going back to it, just like going back to the chaos fight and like dying, and then like, all right, well, I guess I'll try it tomorrow, and then going back in and dying and like feeling like I'm not getting any better. And then finally earlier today, I had like a really great round, and I like slaughtered him on both the first 2 rounds, and then the third round, my big thing is like save up all the bravery points and just drop the nuke, you know. But with this third round, I just started trying to just kind of chip away at him a little bit more, and that ended up helping out a ton. And then as I was like working on chipping away, I broke his defenses, and I got like a huge bravery bonus, and then I tagged him, and then I just smacked him with like a one HP attack that killed him. And then I was like, oh, well, that seemed very easy. But that's like what I'm running into a lot with this game. Like I'm playing the Shantoto campaign after you beat the game. It unlocks 2 more campaigns, and I assume the second one is Vaughn, right? Because we have the 2 characters because we saw them in the game, and then like they're just not in the game anymore. Like we saw them for like 2 seconds, and they're like, yeah, I don't care about your roses, so I'm out of here. You know, like I don't play that kind of game. And then once you beat it, you can unlock their little campaigns. And so I'm fighting some of these other guys, and like I'll go into a fight, and it's just like the bell rings, and they're fucking there, and they're there, and they're just relentless. I can't block, I can't dodge. I'm just caught in the tornado of souls from Terra, and then she just kills me, and then I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Like this game is so bullshit. And then I retry it, and I just kill her in like 3 seconds. I'm like, what? Like what is this? Like, all right, get lucky, keep retrying until you get lucky enough to smack them, and then you win. I'm having fun with the game though, obviously, because I did finish it like an hour ago, and it's enjoyable. I wish it was a little bit faster with the blocking and stuff. That's the one big complaint that keeps it from being a great fighter, I would say, or a very good fighter, is the fact that you don't have a block, really. I mean, you do, but it's slow. It's not as quick as I'd like it to be, so it's not as functional for me. But I am enjoying it, and I do plan on completing the next 2 little chapters and kind of seeing what goes on. And it also unlocks all of the... So you know how we did like you're doing like the solo campaigns right now, Joe?
Yeah.
The game also has kind of like the end of the line matchups where you go in and you like fight bosses on certain stages. So like in the Dissidia guide that we both looked at, it's like it's the last chunk after you complete all of the standalone fights, right? And it's a lot, but the cool thing is once I beat the game, I then had the ability to play through that campaign with all of the villains that you unlock by getting your PP points. And I'll tell you what, if you get PP points the way I think you get PP points, I should have a lot of PP points, right? Not as many as you'd think, but yeah, I use those, and I can play through the campaign as the villains. So I mean, it's kind of a cool thing for replayability, and they all have different play styles too. From what I've heard, like a lot of them are sort of like more mixed than the main guys. So it's kind of a cool thing. I really wish I would have played this game years ago and just like slowly and steadily just gained like a ton of experience playing it and just like unlocked all the stuff and experienced it all. But I'm feeling almost ready to just be done with it though. Like it's been good, but I want to do these 2 story campaigns, and then we'll do the review, and I'll probably put it away. But
all right.
I've done a ton this week.
I'm going to attempt my best to beat it this week. So go on to ultimafinalfantasy.com, click on forums, and we should have an area for you to put your reviews, which I know a lot of you guys played this game, so your reviews of Final Fantasy Dissidia original, and any questions you have that you want us to answer on the review as well. That'll be all there. Or you can tweet us. And,
you can tweet me at UFF Podcast.
And you can tweet me at Joseph DeGillier.
You can also send us an email at fffanatics123@gmail.com, or click through the forum's contact page, or the website's contact page at ultimafinalfantasy.com, where you can find everything related to the show. If this is your first episode of the show, you got a lot of catching up to do, but we're glad to have you, and we hope you stick around. Great ways to support the show. You can go to Patreon, patreon.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. Sent out a bunch of mugs. Got all the mugs covered. Now, except for one guy, but he lives in fucking Canada, and that's impossible. But he's coming to KupoCon, so I'm gonna make him
nice.
the ultimate mug.
Yeah, you should make me one as well.
Yeah, we should have mugs. Yeah, I feel like we deserve mugs.
We should definitely have mugs. Yeah.
Like,
I need mugs.
When you hold the mug, you'd be like, oh, I remember that 5-year stint we had there. But yeah, I've got the mugs out. I'm working on getting more bumper stickers, catching up on all that. Guys, I've contacted a bunch of you. If we owe you an episode on Patreon, I should have already reached out to you if I haven't yet. We're still down to do them. Since the show is going to take a little bit longer, we're also still down to do any future pledges. So if you really want to get on the show, either do that or play an obscene amount of Final Fantasy XIV and then play 14's new expansion with us, and then we'll just have you on anyway, because that's how we do it. We've got that. That's a great way to support us. You can also click through our Amazon link on our website, ultimafinalfantasy.com. All of your orders, give us a small kickback, but it's all very appreciated. Twitch.tv. Sub to us there if you want. You can show us your biddies. Can't give you beads back, but we wish we could. It's a great way to support us as well. All of that and so much more. UltimaFinalFantasy.com. Please, guys, give us your reviews of Dissidia. We know this was a big game. This is a biggie, and we want you to tell us what you think or thought. If it's been years, tell us how you felt about it at the time. Things change, but whatever.
All right. Well, we got any news?
That's a great question. Let's dive into the news. All right, so first up in news, we have the 20th anniversary for a Final Fantasy that is beloved by many and was the first one for our good man Joseph here. Final Fantasy VIII. Released.
Didn't we already do this? When was it?
It was today.
Oh, it was today?
Yeah, February 11th, 1999 in Japan. I guess that would be yesterday now, right? Because it's the Dateline deal.
I don't know.
Final Fantasy VIII, 20 years old. Crazy. Crazy that Ultimacia has been destroying our dreams and shoving icicles through our chests for the last 20 years. Man, all of these, every time I hear a piece of news that's talking about how old these games are, I just start to feel more and more old. Like it's crazy. It's insane how fucked up all this is. Because I remember when that game was new. I remember.
You want to go crazier, though? Just think about the year 1998, which we were both little kids, but you can remember 1998 just a little bit, right?
Yeah. Of course.
Then think about how 20 years before that was 1978.
Yeah.
Just think about that. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it certainly is. It's an interesting way to look at it. That's a lot. That's a big gap. Like, a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah. It's very different. Very weird feeling.
Yeah.
All the Reagan years right in there.
Exactly. So, Final Fantasy IX on Xbox One and Switch is currently available, but Final Fantasy VII will launch on March 26th. So, guys, if you for some reason don't have a PlayStation, don't have access to Final Fantasy VII, or you just kind of feel like buying it again and again and again, now you can for the Xbox or the Switch. I think it'd be kind of fun to have it on the Switch, to be honest. It's one of those games, like basically any game is kind of one of those games that I think I look at and I think, yeah, that'd be kind of fun to not have to sit in front of a TV to play. It'd be kind of cool, you know?
Sure, yeah. I was thinking Skyrim.
Yeah. No, I think everyone was thinking Skyrim, though. But definitely Skyrim first, and then Final Fantasy VII.
That's right. So the PlayStation war is over. Final Fantasy VII is now on a Nintendo system.
Yeah, and it's on Xbox, too. I mean, 13 and 15 obviously both on Xbox. But now we've got 7. Now the door is wide open.
Yeah.
Sony, there's no need. It's not necessary to have a PlayStation anymore. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens next gen if they keep any exclusives. So, Square Enix did trademark Final Fantasy Adventure and Secret of Mana in the United States. So, February 5th is when they ended up trademarking that. I think we're going to get another one of those remakes, remasters out of that. So that's pretty exciting. That'll be a great way to play those games. I know they released a big Mana collection in Japan on the Switch. It's like all the Mana games. And I saw that, and I didn't realize it was Japan only for a little while, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then I noticed, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, those are our next games after we beat the Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
So hopefully this news travels a little faster. We can figure out what we need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Chocobo Run also trademarked in Europe. So, I mean, and based on what we've seen, based on what we've been seeing lately, I do think Square is kind of rounding up a lot of their IPs and rebooting the games. I think they're going to get really into this remaster, re-release thing, which is great because we've been asking for that kind of the whole time, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's been kind of annoying having to buy little consoles just to play a game once ever. Like what we had to get for Chocobo, or not Chocobo's Dungeon, what we had to get for the first Crystal Chronicles game, like that's insane. What we had to get to truly enjoy that as a multiplayer experience, it was nuts. And it's nice that they're starting to realize that these IPs, these old games that they had, they're still capable of making some money at least, and so they're deciding let's just trim it up, make it look a little better, and drop it. So I'm stoked to see what else they come up with, especially along the lines of the Mana series. I'm hoping to see that here. But just those...
It's building up that library, man. That's how studios make most of their money. Just like slowly all the little sales accumulated for old stuff. It actually makes a shitload of money for them.
Yeah.
So it'll be the same way with these game studios once they like kind of figure out that that's what the business is after a while. So. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's still... It's kind of interesting, though, because like, part of me loves the fact that I'm getting to play these older games on these consoles that I've kept over the years, you know? So it's like, oh, cool, we're up to the PSP games, and I'm like, well, if my PSP wouldn't have gotten stolen, I would have another game to enjoy on the PSP, which is a console I bought, played 2 games on, and then never played it for years, you know? So it's kind of nice having that, but it'd be even nicer to just sit down on the couch, grab that PS4 controller, and just go. So I'm stoked for this. Last little bit of news, though. Final Fantasy 15 Episode Arden. We got a sneak peek at Insomnia, and we have a couple new screenshots. So as we all know, this game is supposed to be set 35 years prior to the events of Final Fantasy 15's main story. So we have a researcher named Versatile Besithia, who freed Arden from his 2,000-year imprisonment. He's taken to a lab where he discovers a certain truth, and he vows to take revenge on the Kingdom of Lucius. So, interesting couple screenshots. Just kind of shows sprawling cities, and Arden in the middle of them. Kind of bizarre. It almost reminds me of Final Fantasy 13, when you're kind of running around Cocoon and stuff, with all the shops and shit around. It has that kind of feel, so I feel like this might be kind of leftovers from... At least maybe aesthetically leftovers for when it was supposed to be a Fabula Novala Crystallis game. But March 26th, Episode Arden drops. Check it out. Watch the watch the little anime if you so desire, and they are releasing a novel called The Dawn of Future, which is releasing in Japan on April 25th, with plans to release in the West later. So we may get a translation, but I mean, I'm sure we'll have to read it at some point ourselves. But that'll be nice to get an official translation from Square, because it sounds like that's what they want to do. So guys, catch up on your Final Fantasy 15. If you're really digging it, play through it again, because Episode Arden is coming.
It's coming, baby.
Yeah.
Any other news, or is that it?
That is it for the news this week.
All right, well, let's talk about Distant Worlds 3.
Distant Worlds 3. Had you ever listened to this album before today, Joe? Is this your first listen through of Distant Worlds number 3?
I think this is my first listen through of Distant Worlds 3. Yeah, I think it actually is. I'm not 100% sure. I might have had it on in the background at some point, like playing on YouTube while I was doing other stuff. But yeah, I think this is my first, at least like committed listen to of Distant Worlds 3. A lot of these pieces, though, are the pieces that they tour with. So there was stuff I recognized as, oh, yeah, they played that at this show.
Yeah. So that's what makes it kind of, I don't know, with these albums that are. It's different if we are talking about like a Metallica show and it's like, oh yeah, I think I've heard this album, you know, like, but it's different with this because it's like fully orchestrated and it sounds basically the same. They sound amazing live, you know, and every time Susan Calloway is there, it's like perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I know I've never listened to this before today. I know they played the Rose of May track at least once, a Chocobo medley. We had a couple character medleys that sounded familiar. I'm not sure if it's the same arrangement as it was in this one. I feel like I heard You Are Not Alone before, and maybe the Balam Garden. I can't remember if one of the concerts had that, but like it's stuff we've heard before. But first time through the album for me as well. I think I've just listened to select tracks here and there, just as I was like perusing certain songs that I wanted to listen to. It would just autoplay like, oh, here's the next one in line. And sometimes it would be a Distant Worlds one, and sometimes it would be some random dude's amazing, Final Fantasy 13 hip-hop remix thing. You never know.
Yeah, sometimes it could be that. We should contact that guy and be like, hey, man, could you make us something for the show?
Yeah, make us something strong.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we can start at the bottom of our list. You got your rankings?
I absolutely do.
Okay, cool. What's the bottom?
Coming in at 13th place for me is the song that plays at the end of Final Fantasy 12. Kiss Me Goodbye.
Kiss Me Goodbye. All right. My bottom is Balam Garden. What's your next?
My next is Balam Garden as well.
All right. So we are combined on Balam Garden as number 13. What did you think of Balam Garden?
So I've always kind of found Balam Garden to be one of those irritating songs. I just don't like the medley. I don't like the arrangement. I just don't like the sounds. I do think they did a solid job. Yeah, it's like it makes you want to go to sleep, you know. And it's not like a peaceful sleep like To Xanarkand would be. It's just like it's like a fretful, like feverish sleep. Like you ate some bad soup at work, and now you're having fever dreams, and you're like 1,000 degrees hot, and you're sweating, and you're like tossing and turning, like no, not the seed tests. Oh God, please. I used to have the cheat sheet of all of them, but I lost it. Okay, I don't want to do this again. And you just wake up like, yes, no, yes. Oh, that garden theme. I do think they do a good remodel to the song, though, and it is a little bit more tolerable, but just not a good piece to me. There are so many solid pieces, and I mean, this is the third Distant Worlds album, it's not like it's like the 10th and they're fucking at their wits end. Like, oh my god, what are we gonna do next? Like we've done
What else we got?
Yeah, what else we got? Like you got lots of shit. You've got so much to do.
You got like some Seymour pieces you can do. Fuck.
Yeah, there's a lot of great music out there.
Tons of like FF3 tracks that are amazing, like the Pandorum and stuff like that. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. I don't like the original piece. Sorry, I don't. It's reminding me of being in hell. I don't like the piece in Balam Garden, and I don't like the world map theme in Final Fantasy VIII. So it's like a lot of walking around in Final Fantasy VIII equals me just disliking whatever fucking music is playing. There's a guy in a backpack just like sprinting down the street. It's a nerdy looking white guy, so I'm pretty sure he's just like scared and wants to get home as quick as he can. Sorry. Distraction. So I wrote down this elevator music bullshit is made 10% better with orchestral scoring.
Yeah.
And then I put the middle section is okay because it kind of gets away from that melody that we all know. And then it goes back into the main melody and then it's terrible again. I just don't like the song. So I'm not even the orchestration. It does, yeah. I say about 10% better. Because it's not the fucking sounds of the MIDI keyboard that I hate in FF8 as well. It's just kind of, it's not great. But, I think there's only a couple tracks on this album that I feel that way about. But
yeah,
anyway.
Overall, I think it's pretty solid.
Overall, yeah, I do think it's pretty solid. But yeah, Balam Garden, not a piece I like at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just the original I don't like, so it's going to be hard to improve on that. What's your next?
So, number 11 for me is the Battle and Victory Theme Medley.
Battle and Victory Theme Medley. Mine is Chocobo Medley, 2012.
Okay, that's my number 10.
All right. Chocobo Medley, 2012 is our combined number 12. All right. Sorry, I got to write this shit, so you got to go first.
You should make it lipstick panel rules. So since there's 13 tracks, I gave it 4, or I gave it 10.
You'd have to do that beforehand.
I gave it 4 points.
It's working how I'm doing because, like, whenever they're both on the board, that's when it gets placed. So that's how it's combined. Anyway, I think it would work out the same, Schweiss.
I guess that's it's like the math problems that are story problems. You're just doing the story problem of the lipstick panels set up. You're just Bobby went to the store to buy 5 bags of charcoal, but his father is a propane man and was disappointed. How many did Bobby return?
That sounds like an ACT science question.
Yeah.
I admit, guess what?
That's why everybody
Timo got
does.
like a 30. Timo got like a 33 on the ACT. I just found that out the other day. My best friend Timo, since childhood, my best friend, and he lives out here now. And that was something we were talking about because apparently his sister got a 35. The max score is a 36. So. And I was just talking about the science questions. I told him the truth.
Yeah,
I got
bullshit.
an average. I got like a 21 on the ACT, and I got it by doing all C's in the science section after like trying 5 problems and being like, "Fuck this." I didn't think I was going to college, to be fair, but
well, luckily you chose the
state
UVU,
school.
the fucking, like, come on in, we don't care what your score is.
That's right. It's the school of champions, as I've called it my entire life. Okay, so let's see. Chocobo Medley 2012. So here's the deal. I didn't recognize the beginning, which I kind of liked. And then we went from the beginning, like 2 minutes, there's like this nice melody that I don't remember at all, to the pan flutes version of Is it a pan flute? Is that what you call those like things? They're like the octagonal
I don't fucking
dishes.
know.
You like dunk dunk dunk. You just make, I don't know what the fuck those things are called. I think it's a pan flute. I'm not 100% sure. Don't correct me because I don't give a fuck. But that version of the Chocobo medley made me want to kill myself. And then the part that was they were spelling out Chocobo. I remembered this from the concert. And I thought it was dorky then, and I still think it's dorky now. But the song is in good humor, and so despite it being like, if it was a serious piece with that instrumentation, I would have killed myself literally, not just like say I want to kill myself. But I don't know. I had fun. I think it was the best Chocobo medley out of all the Chocobo medleys we've had so far.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad track. I think these ones are always kind of fun and light, and it's a kind of a good way to get everyone feeling positive towards the end of the album. And that's kind of where they placed this one. This was the 11th track on the album. Mm-hmm. I think it was a fun little thing. I agree with you. I kind of like the beginning part a little more, and then it kind of goes straight into the Chocobo dealio. I really wish they had the 13-2 Chocobo theme in there somewhere. That's the great Chocobo theme, you know, the metal Chocobo theme. That's what I want. But yeah, it's not the best track, but I don't know. It's not the worst for me either. I put it at number 10. It's just kind of a fun, lighthearted track, and it's supposed to be a little bit campy, so it doesn't really bug me that it is.
Speaking of campy, Kiss Me Goodbye is my number 9, and thus Kiss Me Goodbye is on the board next.
Really?
So, I did not recognize this song at all. Then I realized when I looked at the thing, I looked at the title and slowly scrolled the really long title, because it says the title of the track. And then, like, in parentheses, it'll say what Final Fantasy it's from. So I had to wait for Google Play Music to just, like, kind of, like, take forever to kind of give me the answer that I sought out. And it was from Final Fantasy XII. So it's the Final Fantasy XII theme song that plays at the end that I remember going, not memorable, but not super annoying, so I don't care. And I still kind of feel the way about it now. I think Kiss Me Goodbye, which you ranked as your lowest, I think it's actually a really good performance by Susan Calloway. Like, her voice is really good. I think the melody of the song is really good. Like, it's well done. It's not, like, super catchy. Like, I'm not remembering it afterwards. But there are some rough, on-the-nose love song lyrics that were forced in their translations to be a certain way. It didn't really work for me.
Yeah, I think I did write down Susan does a good job with the track. I've never really cared for the song, though. And the biggest reason why is it's not reminiscent of Final Fantasy XII really at all. I mean, I guess there's some love story going on, but that's not what the story is really about. You know, it's about you know, the gods controlling man, and man trying to fight back via Vayne Solidor and failing and just going crazy and stopping that. I mean, there are numerous love and like relationships in the game, but that, like, at the end of the game, it's not like it was a super lovey, like, oh, you finally came, you rescued me, you know. And then that's when the track kicks in. It just kicks in, and I'm like, And yeah, you're right, the lyrics are just kind of a little bit too simple for me. I don't like the song. The instrumentals, though, I think it's a well done, well made song. I certainly don't dislike the song itself. I mean, as far as like what Distant Worlds, what Distant Worlds has done. Yeah. I don't care for the lyrics. I think her version is probably better, I guess. But again, it's a super forgettable track. Like, I couldn't like sing it at all. It's a thing that when it comes on, I'm like, oh yeah, this thing, and then my mind purges immediately. Worst one for me.
All right, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Blinded by Light.
Blinded by light. Wrapped up like a dude. I thought that was a really odd one to put in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very strange. I'm surprised they didn't get any, like, copyright cease and desist letters from this. They just kept playing it, you know? It's like, wow, are we doing this? Really?
I always found out when I was playing FF13, I always found that kind of a weird song to play during the battles.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Every single time, it would just start with the chorus of that song. Blinded by light. Like a dude. Anyway, I think I might have made that joke years ago on this show after seeing the name of that track. But Blinded by Light. This is the FF13 battle music.
Yes.
I never really cared. I mean, this is our combined number 10 out of 13. I never really cared for this theme that much as a battle theme. Like in the scope of the whole series, I never really cared that much for this one in comparison to the others. I thought it was fine. Don't get me wrong. I think it's just fine as a battle theme. It does have that quality like many of the battle themes do, where if you're playing the game a lot, you're getting real sick of that. Fing, 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 fing. Blinded by the light. You're getting real sick of that kind of like opening as the song continues. But I mean, it's like pretty cool. It's pretty epic. It's just not as good as the Nobuo stuff, I think. But I kind of Schweiss. The reason I ranked this second to the bottom, and the reason I ranked it that low is because I think I like the original one better. In my head, I just feel like it had more power in the original orchestration, which I believe was probably all or nearly all synth. And these are, of course, this is a real orchestra, but to me, it's like, I don't know, man. I just think that the original one had more going on, and it felt more powerful. And so, just like the idea that the Distant Worlds version is not as good as the original one made it kind of go a little low on my list.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a solid, fast-paced one, and it's the 8th track on the album, so it's kind of picking things back up, because the song we had before was Fabula Nova Crystallis, which is kind of a slower, lighter, more calming track, and so it's kind of like working to build us towards the finale of the album. So I think it fits well within the CD, within the album itself, and it fits well coming right after Fabula Nova Crystallis as well. I mean, it's just extremely fitting. But I agree. I don't really like this battle theme that much. I mean, 7s is really great. 8s is whatever. It's fine. 9s is a good battle theme. 10s is amazing. 12s is just whatever is happening. Like, each boss has their own little theme. Like, there are great battle themes in the series, and 13's just isn't one of those ones. Like, it fits its universe well enough, but I don't know. It's an odd one to choose for its own track. When we have battle theme medley, battle and victory theme medley, and they chose some great ones for that. They made that a fun song, and this one just, I don't know. I mean, I put it above that one, but it's just not one of my favorites. I don't know. I kind of like it. I like it a little more than the medleys at times, because the medleys it's almost like not enough. It's like a sampler, like I buy the Squatters sampler, and like I know I only want the Apricot Hefeweizen, but I trick myself into thinking that I want some of the other beers that come in the Squatters sampler, and then I just am disappointed at the end. But
it's true.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, our combined number 8 is, because it is my number 8, our combined number 8 is Battle and Victory Theme Melody. Speaking of battle and victory theme melodies, here's the thing. I think this track is pretty freaking awesome. And I love the versions of the battle themes that they played, kind of all rolled into one thing to the next thing. A lot of flashbacks happening while listening to this CD for a lot of games, especially 13. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know there were 13 tracks on this album. I kind of thought the ending was dorky, and I still think that when they play this piece, because I'm pretty sure they played this battle and victory theme medley. I'm pretty sure they played it during at least one of the shows that we saw. And they do that, and like they say something at the same time. And they did it in this album. And it's like, every time I go, what the fuck did they just say? I thought it in the concert, thinking it now. And it's like, is it every day is a victory? Is that it? What are the lyrics?
I don't know. I honestly, I didn't even hear it. I think that might be what it is, though. Yeah, it makes you uncomfortable. It's like the massage scene in Final Fantasy X too. Like it's just one of those things that you just like. You just kind of squirm in your chair a little bit, like, nah, why do you got to do that? Why you got to do that now? Like, why? Yeah. Like,
all right. I don't know. How do you feel about that one? Like, just overall. I guess you kind of gave your thoughts on the medleys.
Yeah, it's an interesting mixture of numerous songs. I liked the energy. I thought it was nice to pick up as the second track on the album. The transitions were pretty natural and well done, but overall, I don't know. I wasn't quite as enthusiastic on this one, to be honest. Part of it's the cheesy ending. Part of it's just I like the pieces to be like a big sort of nuanced version
singular thing.
Yeah, a more singular thing that they get to play around with a little more, and that's when I love the Distant Worlds albums. Like, they'll play a great song, but if they make it their own, that's when it's the best, you know. And this one, it's just they're just kind of going through a couple of the tracks, good energy, but yeah, I don't know. It's one I don't really care for as much.
The medleys have to be there to like play little bits of the pieces of the, like when they're doing a live concert. It's got to be able to pick those pieces that makes every person happy that they played like something from their favorite game. So
yeah,
the medleys kind of like cover that ground, and then it's like, oh, we're not gonna do, 12 victory or like 12 battle themes tonight. We're just gonna do one piece that's 4 minutes long that goes through like 5 of them. So yeah, I kind of get it. Like, I understand what they're doing with it, and I'm fine with it. I like it. I like this track quite a bit. It's just, yeah. All right. So we are at number 8. Okay, what's your number 8, Schweiss?
My 8 is Fabula Nova Crystallis.
All right. My number 7 is Character Theme Melody. What's your number 7?
Mine just so happens to be the ending theme.
Ending theme? What?
Yeah, the last track, or the second to last track.
Hold on. What's it called in the fucking thing?
It was just called Ending Theme for Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, no, it's called Balance is Restored.
Oh, on mine it just said Ending Theme. I guess I must have had a different playlist.
Okay. Balance is Restored. Okay. That's our combined number 8. Well, what did you think?
So, I think it's an upbeat one, and I like the final theme. I think it's a solid part of the game, a solid part of that soundtrack. I like the song's range. Kind of goes from more of an intimate, like, more personal song to sort of bombastic, sort of near the end. And it's kind of one of those one-size-fits-all sort of songs. Like, it has something a little bit for everybody. I think there are better songs for Final Fantasy VI that they could do, and there are better songs that they have done in the past. Like the Kefka or the final boss theme or whatever for 6 on the last one was like awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the one that was like amazing. I love stuff like that. This one's not bad. I don't know. I dig it, but I think there are better tracks on this album. I think it puts us in a good place for the final track, which I love personally. It was the Answers song from 14. But it's kind of an interesting point, or an interesting point in the album as well, like, because it kind of goes everywhere. So it's an odd place to put it at the very end, because usually what they'll do at the very end, they'll have like a real soft, like mellow piece, and then they'll just hit you with the big one, right? And this one kind of upset the order, which isn't a bad thing. It's just different from the makeup of the last two albums, from what I remember. Because I remember like that slow, that midpoint got a little quieter, and then it started building, and then we had like a real softy, and then the big ass song. But overall, decent song here.
All right, so with Balance is Restored, I first wrote Don't Recognize, and I started listening to it. I thought I heard like a piece, like a melody from FF8, and then I was listening to the thing, and I was like, it sounds a little bit like FF7, but it's not quite hitting it. And then I looked at the title once again. Apparently it's FF6, and I just put end credits ? Because like that must have been what it was, right? That must have been when this song played. Because it's kind of like an overall big piece, but it feels like a whole bunch of little pieces in one. That's, I don't know. It just feels like one of those. So it's good, I think. The melody doesn't really hook me, which is probably why I don't remember it from the game itself. Other FF6 themes do kind of like pop in and out every once in a while. I feel like Nobuo might have repeated himself a little bit. On this track, and like it started to sound like Aerith's theme just a little bit from FF7. But anyway, it sounds like a middle of the road Nobuo Uematsu piece that I just don't remember. But I thought it was nice, like it was a nice piece. Not as memorable as his tracks usually are, but I don't know. I thought it was good. It was just, that's kind of where I am with that one.
Yeah,
that's why. For me, it's like pretty low on my list. It's like number 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's your number 6?
My number 6 is the character theme medley.
Okay, character theme medley is on the board.
So I think the song starts out very strong. Terra's theme, to me, is the best character theme in the entire series, hands down. It's an amazing song, one of the best tracks in any video game, I would say. They moved very solidly into Kefka's theme right afterwards, and they kind of played around with the opera scene as well. And I kind of like what they did with the opera scene. I mean, we had an opera scene remake with the vocals, I think on the first Distant Worlds, and I was so excited, and then it was not great for me. I thought it was pretty bad, actually.
Well, I didn't think it was bad. It's just like, let's have our imagination pretend the opera singers are singing.
Yeah,
let's not actually hear it.
Yeah, there's something about it. But I thought this one was. I thought this was good. I liked it. I liked this version of the opera theme a lot more. I think they shine a lot when they don't worry so much about the vocals, and they just kind of hit the tracks that are nothing but notes and instruments. Like that's what I like about Distant Worlds, and I think this song kind of does it for me. And 6 has an incredible soundtrack, so I love the transitions. It's very smooth. It all feels very concise and well packaged. I like the song. It's good.
Yeah, I agree. I like this one a lot, too. I think it's actually a better... Because in the last CD, we had a version of the Terra theme that I didn't really care for the instrumentation on. And I actually think that... I mean, we only get a little bit of it, but I think that this version is actually better. I love the Kefka theme coming in and all its little variations. There was one with like an echoey piano thing that I thought was like fucking awesome, and I don't know how they did it. And then the Cellist/opera theme is better as an instrumental. I also wrote down. So we're on the same page here, Schweiss. I really like this one. Just because I like all those themes from FF6. Any of those themes, 2 of them have been expanded, obviously, into their own stuff. But as a medley, it's nice. And I would like to hear them expanded with this instrumentation as opposed to the instrumentations on the other 2 CDs. But anyway... Yeah, I really like character theme medley from FF6. Really liked it. So I don't even have to look at the list right now. Our combined number 6 is Fabula Nova Crystallis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is a good midpoint for the album. It's a little more kind of like mellow version of the original, kind of a little more intimate, and yeah, none of the lyrics. I feel like didn't this song have lyrics before? It seems like it's one of the ones in 13.
There are some parts where there's like a
yeah, that. I
some
liked
of that.
it. I liked this version quite a bit. I think it's
There's
calming.
like 19 different versions of this in the original 13.
Yeah. True. Yeah, that is true. They have a lot. I think this is a pretty calming and overall like a beautiful track. I like this one. It's a good track to have as the midpoint for the album, just kind of like cooling things down after the awesome character theme medley, which was the previous track. I liked it. I thought it was the superior FF13 track on the album so far. I put it right above Blinded by Light, mostly because I didn't realize Blinded by Light was the next song for a while. I was just like, oh, we're doing this song from 13 now. And then I looked and I was like, oh, we're doing this song from 13. Oh, okay. I guess I just didn't. It was just such a great transition. I think it works well as a transition track into the next piece. And that's one of the things that I like about this album so far is it kind of feels a little bit more cohesive, you know. For
it does feel very cohesive, yeah.
It might not be. I'm not saying it's necessarily better than the other two, but like it has more of a natural flow, in my opinion, and I feel like that benefits it. It's not just like the greatest hits, you know, Scorpion's greatest hits, just like 30 years where the music punched into one area. It's they all kind of flow and ebb with each other. So I like this one. I think it's decent.
It's 30 years of Scorpions brought together into one harmonic guitar solo.
Yeah.
So that would be
one whistle solo.
That'll be the third one. Dude, I got there's a guy at work that just whistles that all the fucking time. So I've had that song stuck in my head a few times over the last like 6 months.
Do you just pull out a lighter every time and just like start?
Oh my god. He's also like one of the worst singers ever, and he sings all the time.
Oh.
My coworker.
Is he worse than me?
Sometimes.
Oh.
Sometimes. He's also loud at it. So he like sings as loud as I do, but I am usually on pitch. And so it's like having a me there who is tone deaf. So I'm sure that for other people is something else. Okay. So Fabula Nova Crystallis. I went, ooh, a FF13 piece, because I just listened to this thing. I didn't look at the tracks beforehand. I thought this was a very good rendition. It might be better than the original, because the original has that really plinky piano sound to it.
Yeah,
that,
it's like really wooden.
It made me really laugh every time there was like a cutscene, and I started noticing that the cutscenes had a pattern.
Blink, 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 blink.
A dramatic pattern that they kept on repeating and kept on having the same music go in the same spot. So every time a character had to like turn around during some dramatic emotional reveal, we got the same fucking piece of music every time. But yeah, that's kind of how that played. So I thought it was a better piece. Like this was a good rendition of that piece. And I think honestly, like this piece as a piece of music, outside of my opinion of its use within the game, I think it's just as good as the Nobuo Uematsu stuff. And I noticed it in the rendition as well. Like when they played stuff from FF12 at the concert, I just remembered going, this sounds too simple. Like it doesn't quite have the life in it that the Nobuo tracks have. And same with like the Soken stuff. I think Soken's pretty darn good, but it doesn't quite have it. But this piece, I think it fits really well with all the other pieces on this album. And it's not just the instrumentation. I think just like the song is like a well-made piece of music. So, yeah, I like this one quite a bit. Okay, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is You Are Not Alone.
You Are Not Alone. Okay. Well, my number 4 is You Are Not Alone. So that is our combined number 5.
Are we really that far through this thing already? Jeez.
Yeah.
Man, so what do you think?
We've only been talking about it for 34 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think about You Are Not Alone? Being currently alone at the moment.
First off, I put, oh, hell yeah, love this theme, love this arrangement. Big fan of FF9 soundtrack. And this theme is one of the themes that plays and gets stuck in your head while you're playing the game. And I just love it. There's nothing I dislike about this theme. The only reason it's like not number 1 is because there's, like, you know, I put 3 other songs that I thought I just like even more. Like, so yeah. That's where I am on this one. It's not like a mind bender or like, wow, look what they did with this. It's just playing the piece of music, really good rendition of it, really simple song, and I really love it.
Yeah, excellent orchestration. Artie and those guys they give it just a little bit of extra flair, and it kind of goes a long ways. This is a great song, though. And 9, like you said, it has one of the best soundtracks in the entire Final Fantasy series. It's an incredible soundtrack, and this is one of that soundtrack's most iconic pieces. You Are Not Alone is great. It's not my favorite song from Final Fantasy IX, but it's definitely up there, and I think their version is pretty damn good. It's one of those ones, it's done very tastefully. Like, they don't really alter it too much. They just give it just a little extra spice that kind of makes it their own. It's great. It's a great track. A lot of fun with that.
All right, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Primal Judgment.
All right, Primal Judgment is now on the board. What do you think of Primal Judgment?
It is very intense. It's interesting that we have past Final Fantasy 12 music in here now. Like, I don't think we had a 14 song before either, if I remember right. I could be forgetting something.
Well,
but
this says Chocobo Melody 2012, so I guess, yeah, we did have FF14, but did we have a Realm Reborn yet? Or I guess we would have just had a Realm Reborn. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. So I guess they wouldn't. I guess obviously, duh. They wouldn't have any because it wasn't a fucking thing. This is the song that's kind of made for me here. It's a very intense song. It's a big, bombastic, like beefy song, and anything that does that, like for months, I would just listen to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack because it's just so fucking huge. You know, or just listen to the 7 or 8 really, really good Star Wars songs that exist because they're just massive. And this is a massive take on an already great track from Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, which they kept, of course. They kept it along with the reboot thing. It's just one of those things that gets my stamp of approval just based on its heaviness almost. It's an intense one. It was the 9th track on the album, by the way. It's kind of near the end, middle to end.
Part of me thinks this might have been on the original 14 soundtrack because I don't recognize it. When it started playing, I was like, "This is awesome," but I don't know this one actually. Like, if they had played like the Garuda fight, I'd be able to recognize it.
Yeah,
Primal Judgment.
That'd be an interesting one, Garuda.
It sounds awesome and it sounds epic. I really like the choral stuff later on in the song, and then that Middle Eastern vibe thing that it starts doing while doing the chorus-y stuff.
Yeah,
I thought that was fucking bitchin', and I think this is a bitchin' song, and it totally deserves to be our combined number 4. Although I put it at number 6. I think it's fucking awesome. So yeah, I don't know even who composed that one. I'd have to look at it, but Primal Judgment, dug it. Schweiss, we have the same top 3 because all my shit's crossed off here. So we have the same top 3. It's just wondering if we have the same order. What's your number 3?
I think our number 3 is going to be the same. I have Answers as number 3.
Oh, you have Answers as number 3? I do not have Answers as number 3. I have Hymn of the Faith as number 3.
Shit, that's my number 2.
Okay, Hymn. No, actually, that makes Answers are on the board. So Answers is our combined number 3, regardless. All right, Schweiss. Answers.
All right.
Answer me this.
Yeah.
Why is it only number 3?
Well, I mean, as you guys know, I fucking love this song. This is the ultimate Final Fantasy vocal track. The only one that comes anywhere near it is, of course, Distant Worlds itself, which is a song that is a million times better than it has any right to be completely honest. Like, playing FF11, I'm like, all right, well, here's an MMO. It's not going to be the same experience. Very surprised by the soundtrack in 11 and blown away by Distant Worlds, the song. But I've always been more of an Answers man. I love how intense it is, like how big it is. It's just one of those big fucking songs, and Susan Calloway kills it, as she does every single time she sings anything, even if it's a song I don't really like. I'm like, well, you know, her version's better than the original. Just don't like the song is all. This one, great. I'm surprised I put it as low as I did, to be honest, because it's one of my, it's up there. It's up there for me as far as Final Fantasy tunes go. Best vocal track they have in the whole series, and incredible version of it. It's the same as Final Fantasy 14's, but it's great. The only thing that was a little more in your face was like her when she was
Speak.
Yeah, speak.
Talk. Eat.
And I was
sleep,
thinking like, God.
Shit.
Yeah, I thought that too, dude.
Shit. Plumbing. Plums. Plum. Fruit. Eat. Shit.
Eat shit. Eat shit. Die. And then, like, fap. Sock. Bottom of hamper. Laundry day. Pretend it's been there a while. It's just like everything you need right there, man. It's just I just thought of like Dave doing that song, and it just made me very happy. Dave's Answers. Eat, think, speak, shit, and then like an epic solo after he does like some kind of swear word. Fuck. Speak. Good track though, but I thought that was a little more in your face, and that's why I was like, it's not, I don't know, it's a little louder than normal in the mix.
And I think I can hear Susan Calloway going like, really? So I could ever
eat.
All right. Eat. Sleep, dream. I don't know. Yeah, I had the same note, dude. I was like, ooh. First of all, I don't remember that intro in the original song, if it was that long or anything like that. I don't think it is. But I thought the intro was really fucking cool, and the song is really good. The lyrics are what the lyrics are, but they're not as bad as other Final Fantasy songs, so I feel the same way about Distant Worlds. There's some like weird, like goofy lyric parts, but it was fine. Because the melody kind of like makes up for everything else, because it's just a beautiful piece of music.
Yeah.
And then I put, the reason it's not my number one, if it didn't have the weird dorky talking part, I would have probably placed it as number one.
And I mean,
the talk part is dorky.
I get it.
I can live with it because the rest is awesome. But.
Yeah, and it's like I get it. It's supposed to be the goddess, like teaching you how, like as her child, teaching you how to live. But I'm like, really? Really, like we know to do these things. Like you should be teaching us, like it should be learn how to balance a checkbook. Learn how to sew. Learn how to drive stick shift.
Save for retirement.
Save 5%. don't get any credit card debt. You know, like it seems a little too it's kind of too on the nose, and that's something that Final Fantasy does a lot.
I think it's just a translation thing. That's all. It's like I don't think they're like hiring English language songwriters to kind of like deal with shitty lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have translators who just do their job. That's what I believe is happening. If I'm wrong, well then fuck, hire someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know. Songs being translated into another language, like, I don't know, it hardly ever works, right?
Yeah, it's a rare thing. It's just
like they have to
difficult
put syllables. Syllables are different. Rhyming is going to be different. Just the flow of the language is going to be totally different. So translating that into the music still has to all be the same, but the words have to be, in the correct language. Actually, like the way it constricts you and like what you can do. It'd be a tough translation job, and unfortunately, I don't think it's really that possible to make that shit actually fucking work. But
yeah, you'd have to alter what the song is, which is fine.
Or you got to hire lyricists that are beyond what you're probably willing to pay. I don't know. I'm sure the people at Disney, when they have to fucking put something out in China, I'm pretty sure they get some top tier talent. To do that shit.
Most likely, yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about that one. But yeah, otherwise it's fucking awesome. Love the intro. Love all that shit.
Definitely.
Big, huge song. And it's a great closer.
It is, yeah. It is. It's solid. Great closer to that game, too. I was blown away when they did that in the credits. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
So our combined number 2 is Hymn of the Faith, the opener of this album.
So you put it as number 2 as well?
No, we put it as number 2. I put it as number 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So actually, Answers and Hymn of the Faith are technically tied, but I've been going off of my list first and then your list as far as my checking off. So that's how it's been working.
Yeah.
So it's number 2. Hymn of the Faith. I thought it was really haunting and really cool. I've been exposed to too many heavy metal albums that start with some little beautiful classical piece of music or some little piano thing, and then 30 seconds in it'll just slam you with the heaviest riff that the band could come up with. So I was like, oh, we're 3 minutes in and they're just doing variations on the beautiful theme from Final Fantasy X. But number 2, I guess we finally got the Battle of Victory theme music 4 minutes into the CD.
Yeah.
Oh, got another cat. This is cat number 3, by the way, hanging out. This is a blonde cat. Very interesting to see. Anyway, I thought it was very cool, very haunting, I thought it was a strange opener because I did expect kind of more of a big, kind of bombastic opener like we did in Distant Worlds 1. Don't remember what the opener was in Distant Worlds 2, but in Distant Worlds 1, it starts with the bombing mission from FF7. But yeah, I thought it was really good, really just a beautiful version of that thing, and it kind of goes in a couple of cool places like it does in the game, but the orchestration of it is very beautiful and it's very powerful, and I just really love it.
Yeah, this is a great one. This is a fantastic song from Final Fantasy X, and this is a fantastic rendition of that song. I love the choir part in the beginning. It's just as good as it was in the original game, if not better. I agree. I've started to as I'm listening to all the Big Four of thrash, I kind of get off on the diddlies that they do as track 1, or sometimes track 8 they just randomly toss them in. Megadeth is sometimes we'll do it as number 1, sometimes we'll do it as number 7, whatever. Those I just love, and then it's just bitching super fast, thrash metal immediately after. This is a great song, and I love this track from Final Fantasy X. I think it's great here. The instrumentals are excellent. Tons of nostalgia. I wanted to play Final Fantasy X listening to this track. I was like, God, I kind of miss playing FF10, and not like last time where I played it to completion. I just miss playing it, I miss playing it, loving the characters, loving the story, playing it for joy and not for masochistic platinums. It really brought back some of the feelings that I had the first time I played the game, and I was just so blown away by it. I was like, oh, we got voice acting and like all these cool things. It's the new console, new Final Fantasy, and it kind of just hit me like a truck right off the bat. First song on the album, and I loved it. It was a while before another track on this CD caught my attention more, and I thought surpassed this one. It was surprisingly amazing. It's a good track. Great version of the Hymn of the Fate, the Farplane Sending from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, it's great, and it's a good combined number 2. And I think we both have the same number 1. Cause, yeah, Schweiss. This is surprising because I thought, Schweiss, that you were going to do Answers as number 1.
I thought I was too. And then the one part I thought of shit partway through, and I was like, yeah, this isn't a number 1 song.
But the number 1, our combined number 1, and the number 1 for both of our lists is Roses of May from Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, this is such a good song. It's an amazing track from Final Fantasy IX, and Arnie Roth and the orchestra here do an incredible version of this song. The orchestra really brings this thing to life. Like, it's a great track in FF9, but their version of it just makes it flourish, makes it blossom in a way that the original can't quite do. And this is one of those situations where I do think the Distant Worlds version is the superior song. It's another big track, and the build-up in this track makes it kind of more impactful to me than the rest of the album. I think this is an incredibly well-done song, or incredibly well-done take on an already excellent track from Final Fantasy IX's catalog. I love Rose of May. I'm so glad we finally got some more FF9 in these Distant Worlds, because I love the medieval style feel of Final Fantasy IX, and this song kind of captures all of that, and it's great. I love this version of Roses of May.
Yeah, I agree with everything you say. This is my favorite theme from FF9, as far as I can remember, because there's so many good ones. Kind of the way it teases the melody before going into like the full-on thing in this version of it, I thought was really cool. And then it has like these amazing like arpeggio parts and all these variations on the theme. Just love this piece, and it gets like really big and epic at the end. I thought Roses of May was just like spectacular.
Yeah,
spectacular song, and this version of it is spectacular as well.
Yeah, I think the only song I love more than Rose of May from Final Fantasy IX is whatever I never remember what the name of it is, but like the menu theme to me is like just,
that one.
Yeah, that's my favorite one, but this is easily the second best song on the Final Fantasy IX soundtrack, and the Distant Worlds version of Rose of May is amazing. It's so good. I was not surprised that we both had this as number 1. I was like, I bet you Joe's going to have this at the top too. Like the rest of it, it's like, I don't know, when we're making these lists, like ranking it is like, it's not really meaningful until you get to like top 3, really. Like the rest of it, there's like bottom 3 and then there's top 3, and then the rest it's like, well, they're good, but I could see why you put it at number 6 and I put it as number 4. It's just okay. But this is an excellent track, and I'm super glad they did as good of a job as they did with it.
Yeah. So I'll go over our list again. My ranking was from bottom to top: Balam Garden, Blinded by Light, Chocobo Medley 2012, Balance is Restored, Kiss Me Goodbye, Battle and Victory theme medley, Character theme medley, Primal Judgment, Fabula Nova Crystallis, Not Alone, Hymn of the Faith, Answers, and Roses of May. Schweiss, your list. Do you want me to say it? Because I got it right in front of me.
No, I got it here. So,
Okay.
bottom of the pack, Kiss Me Goodbye. I did Kiss You Goodbye, and Good Night at number 13. I put number 12. Number 12.
Balam Garden is what you put.
Fucking Balam Garden song. Yeah. I don't disagree that it's probably the worst one, but Kiss Me Goodbye just rubs me the wrong way. Number 11, Battle and Victory theme medley. Number 10 on my rankings, Chocobo's medley. 9, Blinded by Light. 8, Fabula Nova Crystallis. Number 7, getting in the top half of the rankings here, Ending theme for Final Fantasy VI, which of course was something else on here on the actual track. My YouTube thing was a lie.
Balance is restored.
Yeah, balance is restored. Number 6, Character theme medley. Number 5, You Are Not Alone. Number 4, Primal Judgment. Number 3, surprisingly for me, Answers. Number 2, The Incredible Song of Prayer, The Far Plane Sending, Hymn of the Faith, Final Fantasy X, and number 1, the ultimate version of Rose of May from Final Fantasy IX.
All right, so I got it combined right here. Let me just go through it one more time. Number 13, Balam Garden. Number 12, Chocobo Medley 2012. Number 11, Kiss Me Goodbye. Number 10, Blinded by Light. Number 9, Battle and Victory theme medley. Number 8, Balance is Restored. Number 7, Character theme medley. Number 6, Fabula Nova Crystallis. Number 5, Not Alone. Number 4, Primal Judgment. Number 3, Answers. Number 2, Hymn of the Faith. And number 1 is Rose of May. All right. So, Schweiss, we got 3 Distant Worlds albums we've done. I've already written down my ranking. What is yours?
All right, so I believe last time we both agreed Distant Worlds 2 and then 1, right?
I thought 1 was better than 2.
Okay.
And you thought the same.
Okay, I guess I'm misremembering which album was which. I think I'm going to put this one at the top.
Our lists stay the same. We both did
It's God damn it.
3, 1, 2.
It's missing a couple things. I mean, the Sephiroth thing from the original one was amazing. There was some great stuff in the second album. But overall, I think this is more of a cohesive album for me. Like, it felt like an actual attempt at making an album, as opposed to here's a bunch of Final Fantasy songs that we know people love. It'll sell the album. Let's pump it out. This one had a little bit more life to it to me, and I think it was structured extremely well. And they all kind of have a similar, like, low, kind of more chill song, and then the big song at the end. But this one just felt like one piece, and it was quite the experience. I love the Rose of May. Answers is a great addition, great album overall. A couple of pieces in there that I think are kind of clunkers, but I feel like I was lukewarm towards more of them on the previous 2 albums. And so this one kind of has higher highs and higher mids as well. So I think overall it's just superior to the first 2, in my humble opinion here.
I agree that it is better. I think there's some songs in their instrumentation in the first 2 that, like, the first one had the opera scene that I thought was kind of a big disappointment, and then the second one, it had some pieces that I really loved from the series, but the orchestration I didn't really love. And so, like, to me, I thought the second one was definitely weaker than the first one. Although Dancing Mad was freaking awesome. But, like, it feels like with this third one, they kind of have gotten rid of, like, they slumped off, like, the 5 gigantic songs that, like, everybody's going to put as their, like, top Final Fantasy songs. And now they're actually able to play, and when they're doing that in this version, I just thought that, like, wow, they did a really good job, picked really good pieces, and yeah, they made, like, a really cohesive album, and it all sounds really great, and I think these are None of these only one of these tracks did I think the original was better than what they had on here, and that was the FF13 battle theme. So, and there were many on the other ones.
Yeah.
So,
it was like, oh, I love this song. It's like, but I like the MIDI one more. Why do I like the MIDI one more?
Yeah. So with that in mind, I do think that this is a really good album. I think all three of them are really good, and I think all three of them all have pieces that are in my mainstays as far as like, you know, when I'm sitting down at my computer writing something and I can't have music that has fucking vocals in it, you know, if I'm in the mood for something in like a adventure-y or like beautiful, big, romantic kind of pieces, and I'm going to play some Final Fantasy music, then certainly a lot of them will come from this album. So, I don't know. I'm a big fan of this album. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I'm glad we decided to return back to these rankings of these albums. I think it'd be fun to listen to some of the Black Mages as well. But I mean, the thing I like about this, like, I don't know. Part of me, I love like hard rock and metal and like big tracks, but in a lot of ways, I love this approach to the music even more. To be honest, like I like it when they're able to combine it and like come up with a great mixture like they did in some of the tracks on this album. But I feel like that's really where music is at its height, in my opinion, is when it's kind of like a hybrid of classical and like almost opera rocky and like heavy, but it just captures everything that I love, you know. And it's the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. It's the fucking Kefka's theme and the last one that was incredible. It's the answers like chug and like thing before she starts talking about how to stay alive, you know. It's all of that, and that's what makes music great to me. It's just the size of it. And I think classical and kind of the more orchestrated style of music is a great way to capture that feeling for me, and I think these albums do a good job of that.
It's interesting you just listed, so I heard you say choral, classical, rock, big, and I immediately thought Les Mis.
Yeah.
Les Mis, Phantom of the Opera, Miss Saigon. You just named a bunch of like huge 80s rock operas. So
yeah, exactly. Like it's stuff like that that's just like
that is the peak of civilization.
Yeah.
Les Mis.
Yeah,
I kind of agree. I fucking love that show, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, love it. Schweiss, we've been talking for a long time.
Yeah.
So
hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please drop a review. We need to scrub those evil 2-star and 1-star reviews that certain European, UK conglomerates like to rain down upon our poor American souls. But so if you would, please leave us a review. Give us your Final Fantasy stories. We've got one in the backlog to read. Email those to fffanatics123@gmail.com. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your Final Fantasy stories. Not all of you are eligible or willing or whatever to be on a Patreon episode invite, but we would still like to hear your roots, where you came from with the series, like where it all began. That's one of the things we love doing with this podcast. We love hearing from other people. You guys know where we started. We want to know where you started. So please email those to fffanatics123@gmail.com, or just click through the Contact Us link on our website, ultimafinalfantasy.com. Write us up your stories, and we'll read them on the show.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Till then, as always, enjoy the grind.
Ultima Final Fantasy.
Bye.